Hello and welcome back to another VOD review. We're going to be watching the Philadelphia Fusion versus the Seoul Dynasty. This was an interesting one because obviously the Philadelphia Fusion are getting to this match. They had to take down the Hangzhou Spark. It was kind of a weird match, the Hangzhou Spark one. They forced a lot of Zaya. Fusion are just the better team, as a lot of us expected. But the real thing about the Philadelphia Fusion right now is we just don't know how good they really are. Obviously, Funny Astro, this is the first time we're really being able to see him be a consistent mainstay. Came in during the Countdown Cup when there wasn't Lucio, so they couldn't utilize his best hero. We now have Shockwave in the country. We got to see Shockwave really make his presence known in this matchup as well. And I really like the way that they're using their DPS. We got Carpe coming in. He's playing like the Tracer plus Flex kind of role, that he's able to play like the Ashe and the hit scans and a couple of other things if he needs to, but primarily he's in to play the Tracer. Shockwave's in for the hit scan. He's just like the hit scan guy now. And then we have EQO coming in to play like the Echo and a couple of the Flex. You know, they played a bit of Genji, I think, in this series as well. So they are a little all over the place, but I actually like the way that they're rotating. It makes sense. You know, some of these other teams, we have rotating doors with like 3 DPS and it doesn't seem like there's a clear-cut role. Well, it feels like that exists for the Fusion. Fusion have been playing well. They do go on to get the win in this match, and I'm excited to see how high their ceiling is in the playoffs, because this doesn't look like the Fusion that we've seen throughout the entire season. Seems like they are playing a little bit better. But talking about teams that look like they have during the regular season, we're going to take a look at Seoul Dynasty. It's pretty much the same stuff, different tournament. Fitz and Profit are very, very good. They play incredibly well in this series. They get picks, they make plays, they do exactly what they need to do. But the rest of the team is a little bit lackluster. Surprisingly, they have Marvel come in instead of Gesture to play the main tank. We've seen Gesture primarily throughout this season, at least recently it feels like. But Marvel comes in, plays the Wrecking Ball. It doesn't look that great. He does struggle from time to time, but that's just because of Fusion playing really well. We will get into this. I don't think Seoul played worse. I just think Philly played better. And I think that is, you know, we'll break that down as we go, but let's just get in this match. You know, especially, it does feel weird that they put Marvel in instead of Gesture, because Gesture has always been known to be a different beast in the playoffs. Gesture in playoffs always flux. 2018 with the London Spitfires goes on to win the whole tournament. Obviously 2019, London Spitfire sucked. 2020 Seoul Dynasty, he was one of the mainstay players that, you know, fucking picked up that hog, went deep with the Seoul Dynasty. So obviously it's not really as much of a season where he could have done that, but I would have still liked to have seen Gesture. So they're gonna, wait, they came out on the Symmetra? No. What? Why do you throw some turrets? He's so late now.
One.
Teleporter online. We move quickly.
Oh! That's cute. Doesn't do anything. Cute. I thought he like teleported up here and like threw them so that they would be in good spots, but he's just fucking yeeting them through the teleporter. Alright. Never seen that before. Cool. Maybe he's like, they're gonna think they're playing Brawl because they see the Sim TPs, but they see, I don't know. That was a weird thing. Obviously they're gonna play the Ashe Pharah. This leaves Fitz very susceptible to getting dove. They get creative on the high ground because of that TP as well, which is nice, but I feel like this should allow Hopper to play quite aggressive, right? Yeah, if Hopper steps up here, goes aggressive with the D.Va. Good peel by Tuyu, sort of countering that strat. Shockwave getting a little caught in the open there, but it's kind of a little cute opening from Seoul. They have the Ashe Ana up here that they can crossfire. The Fusion's going to have to commit, but they have the Pharah Mercy playing the coast. Then the ball comes in this time. It's kind of cute. I think it's a good first setup. It works, right? Like, you got that crossfire and just does a lot of work. I don't like the comp overall. I feel like it's just not a great comp. it doesn't really synergize very well, that everyone's gonna have to be playing so far away, and that's like why it feels like Seoul goes on to lose that round, right? They end up getting the Pharah Mercy with the dive, because 2U has to peel, Marvel has to dive, it sort of leaves Prophet and Animo on an island on their own, so. Carpe just sort of goes a little sicko mode with the Tracer. Shockwave, probably, if all he has to do is hit a couple of shots. Yeah, 2+2+2 versus 6 is a great way to summarize it. So now they have a lot of damage, but yeah, they're not a lot of synergy. Okay. Oh, Animo, what happened here? I don't really like this nano and the aggression that Prophet goes, because there's no way Animo can follow him here. Like, and if he does, Creative needs to follow, but like oh, actually, I just don't really like where he went as well. I felt a little thing, but Shockwave catches him out for that. And Prophet he will go on to die for that as well, yeah. So he's a little aggressive, and this is why I just don't like this comp. I just feel like it doesn't, especially with Shockwave on that Kree, Prophet's gonna have a hard time getting anything done. They'll have Valk Barrage at least, so they'll be able to go aggressive this time because Animo has the Valk. And they have the Bob from Fitz, so it should be able to work for them. This is map 1. Yeah, this is map 1. This map only goes to 4 maps.
I'm gonna have to shoot you down.
Bob, do something.
Bob to point, great whip shot. I think a lot of people might have been confused what happened here. Fitz actually throws this in the right spot. But Funny Astro hits it with a whip shot, recognizing that it could throw it off, and it does, right? Whip shots it off the edge. And that's so bad for the Seoul Dynasty. Like, they needed that Bob to give them space, force them away. Like, once again, mines come out. They're not going to do anything. That's 2 ults that haven't really accomplished anything. They do get Carpe, but that's 1 for 1. Animo's Valk's very early, like it doesn't really help him a whole lot. Oh, Shockwave gets a little caught out by that one. That was quite bad. Like, yeah, thank you very much for your Prime sub. They might get the win here. Oh, Animo should be dead for this. Oh, good heals by Creative. But yeah, Creative's just so far away from everyone else. Yeah, I just really don't like this comp from Seoul. I think it's... You know what this comp feels like? This comp is just hoping that Seoul just like Fitz and Prophet go sicko mode. That they just like hit all the shots. Everyone plays individually very well. That sort of offsets the balance that they aren't playing as a team. But Fusion just do a great job of staying together and isolating people one by one, right? So...
4, 3, 2, 1.
100k pretting this one? No. Oh wait, where are we? I'm like, wait, where's everyone? Wait, that's not how it works. Alright, so we're gonna come out here, we're gonna see a Mei Sim versus Mei Sim Brawl Mirror, literally the same heroes, except Hop is playing the Sig. I don't like the Sig. We saw this earlier in the season, didn't we? Where people were playing the Brawl with the Sig earlier. Oh, people were playing with Zaya. What do you guys think? Do you guys like the Sig over the Diva in the Brawl? My biggest problem is against Mei Sim. I think Mei Sim's both quite good against the Sig. Like, I think the Sig's got to really play very well against this to make it work. I think Diva is just overall in the neutral going to be better. Hey, buddy. So you get a good wall. Mano gets quite low. Marvel's got to be careful about overextending here, though. Tayu gets caught, actually. Interesting. Great lamp from Alarm. Great timing. Mano almost lived to tell that tale. Shockwave is just beaming right now, though. Look at him. I honestly love this feeling as a sim when you're just like beaming the shield. But I think this was one of the smartest changes that Blizzard has made, is that you charge up against the shield, but you also get ammo back. So it doesn't feel like it's useless to charge up against a shield. Because you get ammo back, it's fun, it feels good. And it feels like Sim is an anti-shield character, and I feel like that's how she was designed to be. So I actually really like that change, and I think that's just a good feeling.
Fire. My teleporter is on.
So you can't just hold shields against Sim, like... Yo, 700 viewers. We actually lost viewers going into the VOD review, which is interesting. People seem to be enjoying me playing ranked more than VOD reviews, which is nice, seeing as we're going into off-season. Alright, so they're coming in. Shockwave should drop this wall as soon as he gets it. Wall's pretty good. Not incredible. I would have preferred it to be more diagonal, right? Like this way, maybe. You know what I mean? Allows them to play back and aggressive and passive. But yeah.
Time to raise my aim.
So like, look at this. Sim's just... He does have to drop off. Gets a little aggressive. They have a big issue that a lot of their team dropped. I think Shockwave and Hopper aren't able to drop like that. They need to fight for this more rather than dropping off. Like, I think they kind of bailed on Mano and left Mano out to dry with that drop off. Oh, that's a great TP. They managed to hold it, so hey. You take those. And Fusion, I would say, out of all the teams in the East, Fusion is the one team that I trust to have a good brawl. Chengdu and even Shanghai, I don't really like their brawls that much. But Philly is just one team that I think, and that's because they originally came from the West, right? They have a lot of West teams that have played a lot of brawl. Who are Seoul's coaches this year? I can't even 100% remember. I think they have the same coach from... They've had the same coach for a while. Who is their head coach? They like switched the head coach from the assistant coach. Their assistant coach went to head coach and the head coach went to assistant coach, if I remember correctly, or some shit. But it didn't really change much. I feel like Seoul has had the same woes that they've always had, where they just feel inconsistent. And I feel like their reads on the meta and how to get the most out of their team and their plays just have never really been a strength of theirs. That's a good flux. Good beat, should counter it, but you take those. Oh, Marvel with the TP shatter? Wait. That was a TP shatter, right? Yeah. That's it. I like that. Oh, good beat by Funny Astro. That's a perfect beat. I think everyone's about to get frozen though. Yeah, everyone's frozen. And the Fusion were just more spread out. Wow, that was really well played by Fusion. Like, Seoul used a lot of ults there. What was that? Mail, Shatter, Beat. But they just couldn't get value. And I guess that's an argument for the Flux, but I also really like Diva Bomb in the chart thing. Astro God. Funny Astro alarm carry every fight. And I think that's why I actually believe that is one of the reasons that no one chose Philly in the selection show. For the playoffs, I think people are scared of Philly. Philly are a different beast to what we saw so far through this season, so it's going to be interesting to see how they perform in the playoffs. No one really knows their power level. Good TP. How does creative die? Oh, come on. That's just mean. Just hits him with a right click through the window from across the world. Damn, I do not remember this first map being so one-sided. This was not a close map. Custa, stop hyping Philly up. We all know it's just gonna hurt the Philly fans more in the end. Yeah, don't worry, Philly fans. You guys might be good, but you won't win. That's for sure. Like, I think Philly can definitely hit new heights, but I don't think Philly can win. I don't think Philly have the chops to go compete with, like, the Shanghai Dragons. This is where I started giving up, and then Seoul gave me hope. So I remember this map. Seoul didn't deserve to win this map. They really didn't. This was Fitz and Prophet stepping up. some Carpe hit scan.
For your own safety, get behind the barrier.
Hey.
What are your thoughts on Shock finally benching Violet and playing FD God Twilight? Did they do that? I don't think they did that. I thought they played FD God Violet and then Twilight Violet. Did they do that? I thought they played Did they? Yeah, they played FD God Violet. Yeah, I thought they did. Alright, I'm checking this just because you guys got me questioning everything I know. Overwatch League. Where are we looking for? Shock. They play... Yeah, Violet FD God. Violet FD God. Violet FD God. And then they play Twilight Violet in that. So... Guess I was wrong. Yeah. I don't think they would take Violet out of the lineup. They seem to have this thing where they think he's incredibly crucial, maybe to the thing. Alright, so Soul's gonna play the Mei Sim to point, which is a really good strat. They get in, they're gonna hold the point. It's very hard to get the crossfire for the Philadelphia Fusion. So obviously they switched in EQO now to play like the Echo. Oh, that was close. That BAP is playing with fire. TP to the top of the wall, they isolate Mono. This is just good play. And when you have these two head-to-head comps where you have like a team that's playing like the bunker style with high damage versus the brawl, Soul did a great job of getting onto the point, and Fusion just didn't get the picks. They needed that pick on a creative, and because they didn't get it, they just lose the first point.
Objective lost. New defense.
Nothing wrong with a little self-improvement. Hey.
My ultimate is charged.
EQO pub? Aye. I got you. EQO has impressed me a lot this season. Get some fucking EQO pub.
Taking off.
Oh! They were in so much trouble in this fight. But your boy Alarm. Does he know they're gonna go here? No, he has no idea. That is... He is lucky that hit, but you gotta take that shot. You gotta shoot your shot. Marvel came out pointing his shield in the wrong direction and just hits everybody. Funny Astro. The Zenyatta, the Funny Astro Zenyatta, I don't think I've seen much of. He is also in the definition of Frowny Town. I've seen him win these. He didn't win it. Creative gets isolated there, and that's the pick they need, right? That's what they didn't do on first point. If someone said Alarm is the best flex support in the league, would that be a hot take? No. I think if I was ranking like flex supports, it's hard to put them all in different spots. But I think Alarm would be, like, I would say in like S tier, I would put like Alarm, Izayaki, Filda, maybe Shu because of his recent performances.
Nanobot is ready to deploy.
Violet has not played well this season. We're talking about this season, right?
Executing flight maneuvers.
Violet has been very average on flex support. Well, I was going to tell you to kill yourself. Hey, fuck it, all the power to him. He hasn't had a great season. Last year, he was like one of the leading MVP candidates heading into the season, right? I think a lot of people said Violet was going to be MVP. He was pissed he didn't get it last year, and he wanted it this year, but they've spread him too thin. Like, he honestly looks like he got spread too thin. He had to play too many heroes. He's playing Brig, he played McCree, he's playing a ton of flex support, he's played Lucio, he's played Mercy. Thoughts on Jonak? He's good. Like, I would put Jonak in like A tier, but I don't think Jonak has had S tier performances as well.
How y'all do?
Iris only played Bab. Yeah, I wouldn't put Iris in there either. He's been good, but I don't think I would put him in there. I'd put him in like A tier as well. That is a fatty flux. Why did Animo beat? So they're TPing. There's just too much damage for them right now. I don't really like that beat. It's not even like he saw everyone. I think he needs to save this beat for the flux. Because he used the beats early, by the time everyone goes up, right, when they come down, they still take the damage. So they essentially didn't have the beat for the flux and it didn't accomplish what they needed it to. So when everyone comes down, they're so low. Twilight, we haven't seen enough Twilight as well. Like, Twilight just hasn't played enough games. I wonder how much Fusion are going to lean into Hopper Sig. It seems like they're really liking the Hopper Sig. I'm a fan of the Hopper Sig as well. It seems to be doing work right now. Let's learn some things from Hopper.
Eyes on the bad guys.
EQO Genji! Let's have a look at it, action. Do you have Philly to qualify? I think it was a toss-up between Philly and Seoul. Oh! Dude, that was the most EQO play ever. So many Genjis would have gone for this first dash, but they wouldn't have gone for the second dash. But this is just EQO. I'm getting like flashbacks of 2018 EQO, like junk mining into our team. He's like, there's a diva bomb going, and he's like, fuck it, I'm still in. No, I'm going. It works.
Unfortunate.
Hello.
Oh, flashback to Rialto Blade. I think that might be one of the best plays to ever happen in the Overwatch League. That Rialto Blade. It's because it was an insane individual play. Like, he didn't have a lot of teamwork around it, right? Like, we see a ton of like 6-man blades, 6-man shatters, all these kind of things, but like the number of things he did perfectly in that play was just like, ugh. He got a blade from that. That was nice. That was a high value nano. Now he's got a naked blade. Another big flux. Creative just can't stay alive right now. Creative's really starting to stay alive. Ooh. Do you think Hopper has redeemed himself by the NYXL? I don't think anyone has ever said that Hopper was a bad player. NYXL is just a place where, you know, historically, in 2019 and 2020, NYXL was the place where careers went to die. Or, like, where good players just never played well. It legitimately is true. Like, I don't know what was happening with their coaching staff, what was going on inside that team, but people's careers literally just, like, went from being considered some of the best players in the league to just redundant. I got your Wrath Dragon. Let's see this blade. They almost have nano as well. Oh, Arena with the gifted sub to Wrath Becca. That also does it as well. Thank you very much for the gifted sub. Custa, you're saying that Violet was spread too thin on the San Francisco Shock by playing too many heroes. Forget Kree for now. But are you also saying that our team should have 7 8 players that do not have specialists? No, okay. I'm not talking even about this McCree. He played flex support and main support. No one else does that at the Overwatch League level. He's played Lucio, he's played Mercy, he's played Brig, he's played a little bit of Ana. He doesn't like playing Ana. He played Zen. He played Bap. He played Moira. He's played everything, like every support under the sun. And people don't do that. There's a reason you have flex supports and main supports. And that's what I mean by spreading him too thin. Skewed would like a word. Well, Skewed doesn't play Lucio or Mercy really that much. He's done it a little bit, but very little. And even then, Skewed hasn't been required to play flex support, so he's able to just practice playing Brig. Obviously, you can always throw him on the Zen, right, if they want to play Bap Zen, but or like put him on the Bap. But primarily, Skewed has been a Brig player this season. Well, like let me show you, right? Let's have a look at this. Stats, heroes. All season, apply. San Francisco Shock. Violet, right? Look at where his like supports are. This is what it's supposed to look like, right? Even Twilight playing a bit of Mercy shows how funky it is, right? But he's played like a lot of different things. And what that does is it means you can't specialize. Like, this doesn't even really include, like, the little bit of Kree he played. He did play a little bit of Mercy as well. Like, if we... Like, I don't want to move the usage down too much. But then you compare it to, like... Alright, let's do this as an example. You compare it to Iris, right? Like, this is what Iris has done in this whole season, right? It helps when you're able to, like, focus on certain things, right? Shanghai Dragons. Izayaki, right? He's only had to play 4 heroes, and they're all flex supports. As soon as you start forcing players to get good at lots of different heroes, they only have so much time in the day to keep refining it, and you need to keep refining your play to keep up at the highest level. Violet has by no means been a bad flex support in this league, but he has not been the best flex support, just because I think he has had to play so many other things. Check Skewed. All right, one second. Let me do Skewed just for the people out here. Skewed. For people saying Skewed has been spread thin. Has he been spread thin? I think he's been spread very thin. With an 83% Brig play. And that's the value, right? Thin with his flair, like, and yeah, like, and that's sort of my point, right? That's what I'm trying to highlight, is that it is fine to have players every now and then play other heroes and do all that kind of stuff. You need to be careful about doing it too much, because what happens is, you know, like, as I said, Violet's been fine this year. I don't think he's been the primary issue. He's died a lot. He's definitely had some unfortunate games, but he's still been good. But he hasn't been the MVP player that we saw from him in 2019 and 2020. They got the Nano Blade coming soon. Yeah, I think you just wait this out. If they're not going to do anything with their rally, I think you don't need to force it. Nice rock. He didn't get too greedy with that one. He could have easily gone for the backline, but that would have been a game. Maybe walling up their own Orisa. Well, I think he was trying to close it off and hide them in there, so make it so that the Genji wouldn't go for them.
30 seconds remaining.
What's going on here? I don't know. I can't see what's going on. So they fluxed Hopper and Funny Astro, but they're not going to die. Like, it feels like Seoul is just not able... I feel like they're playing too slow with their composition, right? They're playing so slowly that they're hoping to get picks. And maybe, like, it could work if they just get, like, 1 or 2 picks, then they would be able to, like, close it out. But the thing is that it allows Fusion to set the tempo, right? Soul's trying to take space, and that allows Fusion to use their ults whenever they want to. Obviously, it hasn't really worked out for them in this fight. You know, like, the Nano Blade doesn't get value, the Bongo didn't get value.
10 seconds.
They might be able to get some high value here. The Hopper Flux is going to be a problem, though. What does Hopper do with this? He almost got 3 with that, and that's just a great Flux. Gets creative in the air, that's all you need to do. You just need to kill 1 or 2. That's the problem with Soul's comp as well, right? If they lose one person, it sort of starts falling apart. Just hoping free picks. I actually want to go back. Why did Animo rally here? Like, it feels like Animo rally.
I need healing. Rally to me!
I guess they wanted to have armor. See, here's my problem. Like, I think they wanted to have armor in case they blade. They're expecting the blade to come, right? But if they're going to use the rally like this, they need to go with it. Like, I think at this point, you just jump down. I think you hope for gold. I think you take their spawn. You jump down, jump on the Orisa, fight the Bongo, go towards their spawn, pressure away the Ana, hope for gold. And then if they use the blade, they use the blade. At least you have rally armor. But by using the rally, it doesn't do anything, right? So then what happens is because they just wait it out, by the time they wait the rally out, and then they just isolate the Mei. And because they kill Prophet, all of a sudden this push comes to an end. So I feel like that was quite a bad rally. I don't even think it's 100% Animo's fault. I don't hate the rally in that sense. I just hate that they don't use it once it doesn't pay off, right?
Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers
Do you think they Soul lose they don't get rid of Toby for Animo? That's an impossible distinction to make. Like, we have no idea. Like, obviously some people like Toby more, some people like Animo more. There's positives and negatives for both, but yeah. This, I think, is a throw. What do you do here if you're the Fusion? I don't like the Genji. Especially if you're not going to play an Ana, right? I think if you're going to play the Genji, you have to commit with an Ana. So if you're going to play double shield, just don't play Genji. I think the Ashe is fine. Even Brig, like, I would rather see Funny Astro play Mercy with Carpe. Funny Astro play Mercy with Carpe. Dude, words are hard right now. And then have EQO, just play like Hanzo, right? Like, just play Ashe Hanzo and just play aggressive, slowly walk. I guess you might get run over at some point, but that you only really need picks, right? But then I guess they're playing the composition that Fusion were playing. Like, they could play EQO Mei, and then that's the comp that Soul played. But if you're going against Brawl, I think that comp makes way more sense because you can play slow because Soul is going to have to run at you. Well, I think with this composition that they're playing, Soul doesn't have to run at them. They don't have enough damage to force Soul to go. So what happens is Soul can just sort of chill longer while Fusion can't really force the space. And then they'll be able to just go. Twin Pete's, thank you for the 2 months. I like your name. Oh, that. And that's kind of why I would like the Mercy over the Ashe as well. Like imagine if they had a Mercy there and Funny Astro keeps Carpe alive. Because Funny Astro doesn't do a lot as Brig. I don't really like Brig versus Brawl. You can definitely make it work. It's not the worst thing in the world, but... So now Carpe goes Reaper, right? And then it's like, well, why not just play the Brawl? Why not just face off in the Brawl? If you're going to play Reaper double shield, Brig Bap, just play it. Just mirror the Brawl and then try and win the head-to-head. Oh, that's such an unfortunate death for Funny Astro. If he doesn't die here, they probably just cap. Straight up, they probably just cap. They have 6 on point. They're just chilling. You have to give props there. That is such an important shot to hit, and that's what player P does. To lose his mech. Like, they're chilling, right? Like, they should win this fight. Mono runs out of the lamp. Someone heal Mono, please. Alarm dies. Oh my god. Like, if they just had better heroes, like, they got so many good picks, they're the better team. They probably just win. Janak needs to heal Mono more. Yeah, I just don't like that comp. It can work. It's not the worst comp I've seen in the world, but so now Carpe's playing Hanzo. Like, they're not diving, so Genji is not really gonna work. And it's not like that blade, they're playing for the nano blade and it's like we can win regardless of the ults they have. Like, good beat by Animo to counter it. Oh, they get just disengage. Marvel Ryan's been kind of fucking. So like, EQ has to get so much value out of this blade. So this is a Philly loss rather than a Soul win, 100%. I 100% think this is a Philly loss over a Soul win.
I am claiming the objective.
There's no nano to get value with. Yeah, it's like, how are you expected to blade? Get the armor, I guess. Yeah, they. Is he gonna force it? Yeah. Right, it's like, was that worth playing 3 minutes of Genji for?
Hello. Greetings.
And like, I do want to highlight, like, this is one of, like, we'll say this is not Seoul Dynasty winning it and Fusion, like, sort of dropping the ball. But I will say, Fitz and Prophet do what Fitz and Prophet do best here and just do a great job of just killing people. That was a good shadow by Marvel, actually. I didn't even notice that.
That'll learn you.
Let Fitz and Prophet kill it. Yeah, and, you know, Seoul Dynasty, Arnold, the CEO, GM, I don't even think he's the GM. Is he the CEO of Seoul Dynasty or like whatever the fuck? He's high up in Seoul Dynasty. After they lost this, they said that they're going to go for an aggressive rebuilding of the Seoul Dynasty. They can be as aggressive as they want. If they drop Fitz and Prophet and don't throw them the bag, I will be fucking gobsmacked. As much as I'd love to see Prophet play for a different team, like send Prophet to like, I don't know, like NYXL or something like that, I would be shocked. COO? Yeah, okay. Or Marvel die. And like, Fusion's got so many picks in this match. Oh, they saw him.
Need a doctor.
They have so many picks. Oh my god. Like, Prophet kills Funny Asher. How does Prophet kill Funny Asher? Freeze him? Gets him with the mail. Prophet goes sicko mode. Fitz goes sicko mode. Marvel actually played a great game in that hold as well. But at the end of the day, I think Fusion just played the wrong heroes. They had every advantage. If they had a better comp, I think they probably just closed that fight out. But in true Fusion vs Seoul Dynasty,
Ready for battle.
in fashion, it's time for Seoul Dynasty to throw. You know, Seoul's like, hey, anything you can do, we can do better. This is where, like, it felt like the momentum switched, right? We get into Numbani, we're gonna see this attack,
30 seconds.
and then somehow, some way, Seoul fucks it up. One sec, go into the lights. When the throw-mobile is saying here comes the obligatory throw again, it's coming.
4, 3,
So this was actually really nice of
1.
Um,
Attackers incoming.
we get to see Fusion play the Wrecking Ball Zen. We haven't really seen them play at all yet in this series. I don't know if they played it much against Spark, but yeah. We get the same from Seoul. But they're playing Anna Brig. Yeah, there we go.
Imagination
Wait.
is the essence of discovery.
What the fuck are we doing here?
Your safety is my priority.
Alright, so they're gonna play the counter dive. Soul's coming in with the counter dive strategy against this Wrecking Ball composition, which is quite good. I actually kind of like this comp, especially if you're not comfortable with playing the Wrecking Ball Sombra Tracer shit. I think you just play this kind of stuff. Play slow, kind of go Atlanta Reign style. One second while this plays. Alright. So they lose a lot of space, and I kind of question why they give them so much space here, right? So they come forward. It feels like they were not set up for this to happen. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like, they can't let them out the door. As soon as they let them out the door, they've lost. So they let them out the door. And it's just so hard to dive at this point, right? You're gonna see Mono try and do something, gets caught, Alarm tries to help, and they're just gonna die. And I think that's just like a pretty big mistake from Fusion. Obviously, they don't have a great comp against this, but, you know, we've seen this work for dives. Comp against Fitz, but it's just, you know, they just have too much sustain. The 12 carrots on the point. Oh yeah, and let's watch Funny Astro. How does he end up off here? I remember he falls. Oh, that's unfortunate. Animo, good play by Animo. Tragedies. For anyone that's not aware, this is not solid. This is not solid. Like, you can't jump down here. It's like a slope.
Stop the payload.
Once you go down there, there's no coming back. For some reason, it is weird that that doesn't work, right? Because it works on a lot of other points on the map. So Prophet gets off the Torb and goes to the Tracer, then goes back and goes to the Hanzo. And I think Fusion comp fucked themselves again, right? Now they're playing Sigma, Hanzo, Wrecking Ball, Sombra, Zen, Brig. Like, what? Are they diving or are they playing slow? Well, what are we doing here?
Beacon in place.
So I don't know what they're waiting for here as well. Like, what are we waiting for? They only get one fight now, and then he gets detected. He's kind of lucky that Animo kind of got lost in the source. It's a good EMP. But I feel like they've given up too much space at that point already, right? Like, they've just allowed Soul to get all this corner. They're already in this room pushing the Fusion, like the rest of the Fusion team. When you see, like, they lose Hopper. To you? Running into mines? Trust me, I get it. So we get a Transcendence and Rally at the same time. Why? So they rally. Just bad communication. Just press the same button at the same time. So, like, as much as they're gonna win this team fight, that is a bad team fight. They're gonna win this team fight, right? Yeah. Carpe's kind of going sicko mode on the Hanzo. That's like a bad team fight. Like, they have nothing for this next fight. Like, Soul is just gonna walk in with their ultimates and just put them on the floor, and then they're gonna win.
I got you twice the payload stop.
Like, Mono feels like he's having a real sad time of it.
Get behind the barrier.
Nah, Hub is gonna get a flex and win. I don't believe you. No! Oh, that would have been sad if Mano died. They just give up the point. Actually, I remember Avril casted this really well, right? Because, like, look at how far, like, they only have Dragon. But look at how far they let them come forward before he even uses it. So they just, like, Mano tries to go in, but he's playing a dive while everyone else is playing a tower defense. Mano loses all his health. The rest of his team is playing passive. Carpe has a dragon, and they cap before he even uses the dragon. It's like, what? Like, it just feels all over the place. So they're kind of comp fucking themselves again. They need to decide, are they going to play the ball, or they're going to play something else? And they're going over the double shield now. So alarm goes to Bap. So they got the Hanzo, Sombra, I think. So they're going to keep the Sombra just because they have the EMP coming up soon. But, you know, like, they just don't have as much damage. So I feel like the double shield... Actually, Soul doesn't even have double shield. I'm just so worried that Fusion isn't going to have the damage that they need to try and fight this. Nice window on the cart. Oh, man, how does that happen? That's such a bad death.
Let them up.
I fucking hate Hanzo, dude. He's just shooting in his general direction. But when I play Hanzo, fucking couldn't hit anything. I just had the worst luck. Come on! That's so sad for Philly. Oh, way funny. You can't chase that. You have the rally going, dude. And then they finally use the EMP, but once again, the ults are just coming too late. Like, the ults are just coming way too late. Obviously, EQ got the headshot before that, but it's just like, it is the reality of their team fights. It didn't feel like they ever had a clean team fight. Soldiers doing whatever they want, and they're just getting picks. Oh, let's watch some Prophet Echo. I haven't watched a lot of Prophet Echo.
Damage systems increase.
There you go, we'll have some cats, boy. So, Soul has 3 minutes left. They've capped. There's no way Soul fucks this up, right? There's no way. So, Fusion's once again playing the Lucio, Ana, Winston, Genji dive, which, this is kind of like what I was saying, where this is like from 2017. This is one of the few maps that I don't mind it, because I think the Lucio can get high ground. I don't think the Brig gets as much value because you're sort of stuck on the high ground, you don't really do anything. So I actually don't mind the composition from Fusion for this. It is all in on the blade though. Like, and this is like, always been the issue with playing this comp is, you're really relying on the blade, because you can't, like, no one on this team for Fusion gets picks, right? No one just gets a pick. You just need to execute a great dive. And that's pretty hard these days. Especially when you have heroes like fucking Baptiste and Moira and all that kind of stuff in the game, where it's like very hard to isolate. Obviously they're playing Merciana, so it might be possible, but... Yeah, and Astro is also one of the few people that when he plays Lucio, I get a smile on my face, you know? It's not the same as closer Lucio, right? We obviously flamed Washington yesterday when we watched it, Washington playing the Lucio Ana Winston. Closer Lucio doesn't instill me with confidence. Funny Astro Lucio always instills me with confidence.
Ultimate is almost ready.
Violet Lucio. I want to keep kicking Violet while in so much in one VOD, which he's not even in. Let's leave Violet alone for now. He's a great player and he's tweet at me. The Juicio.
Flight routine. Wayne with it.
So we got Nano Diva. So EQO goes over to the Sombra. I don't love it, but it's fine. I think they're just not confident in the Nano Blade. Surprised that they don't nano the Winston, but I actually kind of like the decision. I think nanoing Winston, especially against an Ashe, like you just get fucking shot away and then you're in trouble, or the Diva boops you away. Well, the Diva I feel like has a little bit more freedom, but will always get at least some amount of value.
Do something.
Dude, man, I agree with this nano. I agree with this nano, and I advocate for Diva nanos at all times. Good beat engage. I love that beat engage. Gives them positioning. To you, get Mano goes down low, playing aggressive.
I'm gonna have to shoot you down.
I think Hopper needed to go with them. I think Hopper needed to follow this dive as well. I guess, yeah.
Winston.
Yeah, funny, Astro and Mano were the only ones that really dove. Where's Carpe? Oh, here comes Carpe. A little late on the dive. Why is Zen better in ball comps than Bap or Ana? Because Baptiste, first of all, in ball comps, if you're playing Wrecking Ball, Tracer, Sombra, Diva, have you ever tried healing a Wrecking Ball Diva as Baptiste? As they play dive and you're sitting there as Baptiste. It's actually the worst thing ever. It hurts a lot. Anna Brig is fine in the composition, but Zen is greedy. And the Zen Discord Orb is really nice. And the way that it works, like when you're playing Ana, if you're playing Wrecking Ball Diva, Sombra Tracer, this is not a great nano target. Right? There's nothing you really want to nano, while Transcendence is really good. And it also puts the onus on they have to deal with your Zen because of the Zen Discord Orb and all that kind of stuff. And one of Zen's biggest weaknesses is that Zen just doesn't have enough healing output, right? Just doesn't. But when you're playing Wrecking Ball, Tracer, Sombra, or Diva, they don't need a lot of healing. The Orb is sufficient for what they need to do. The Sombra Tracer can play around packs, so can the Wrecking Ball. The Diva needs the Orb probably the most out of everyone, but you can make it work, right? And then Brig Zen actually combos quite well in that they can support each other quite well. So it's a very greedy pick, but works quite well with the dive because, especially when they're playing that dive, that style of dive, you can't spend all of your attentions focusing on your own dive to get on the Zenyatta. You really need to be careful about the counter dive, especially if the Sombra is using their hacks defensively. So Mano once again trying to go aggressive. EQO gets caught. Wait, what happens to EQO? Does he get slapped? Oh, creative hits him. Sag. Marvel goes down though. I like the bob.
Seconds remaining.
Gets slapped. To you with a Diva Bomb. He's getting whipped around by Mano. Good dodge by everyone else. They actually did, Philly did a pretty good job of negating those ultimates, the Bob and the Diva Bomb. Hopper Diva Bomb on the other hand. You're going home. Get ready. Good bomb by Hopper. And that should open it up. That was really well played by Fusion. I think that was a really well played team fight. They negated a lot of the Soul had the ultimates to counter that. Especially since they had some bad starts, but yeah. I like to straight Shockwave on and test it out. I think if EQO is the one playing it, then they believe in EQO Sombra more than Shockwave Sombra. As much as it's like, oh, EQO Sombra, it doesn't look as good as we would like it. They've almost certainly tried Shockwave on the Sombra as well. Or they've talked about playing Shockwave on the Sombra. If they're not willing to play it, I don't usually like questioning team roster decisions on certain heroes. Obviously, from time to time we do because, like, we know someone's really good at it, but can we say that Shockwave Sombra is better? No, we haven't seen it. We haven't. It's been such a long time. I'm just gonna trust that EQO is the best player, best man for the job on the team. They got the knowledge. They're the ones in scrims. They're the ones who practice. I got nothing wrong with that. But I agree, EQO does get picked a lot when he plays the Sombra.
Be right back.
EMP tanks. I think you just do it. What are you doing? What's he doing? Alright, that's fine. I don't know why he just didn't do that earlier. Oh, yeah, I don't know why he just didn't do that earlier. Just EMP the tanks. I think that would have been a fine EMP. But he goes down for that. They do get alarm. Funny Astro doesn't manage to catch up. But it's fine to trade if you're the Philadelphia Fusion. And think about it right now, right? Seoul almost held Philly at this point. They have 3 minutes in the time bank. Philly is at the start of point 2 with 2 minutes left, and they just lost his team fight. Seoul can't throw this away, right? There's no way. Carpe gets Marvel, and that was just a really bad fight. Like, that's a really bad death by Marvel. That's like a really... You really don't want to lose a team fight. Well, not even a team fight. You don't want to lose a player when the cart's here because you just don't get another fight. Like, they're just not going to get another fight. At this point, the fights, they just lose second point for that play. So that's kind of a big throw by Marvel and the Seoul Dynasty. Because if they try and commit to this, it's going to be very expensive to just get into the fight, right? Like, look here. Oh, they don't even get into it. EMP was just a throwaway for throwing his. Yeah, that doesn't explain why he was doing what he was doing. So I actually really like the Reaper switch as well. Just bully Marvel. If they're going to try and play Winston Ana, just play Reaper and just mess with their tanks. Make it impossible for them to dive you. I actually really like this Orisa comp. This is essentially the counter dive. I think this composition is great against the Winston comp. I don't think anyone is able to play this Winston Ana Brig or these Winston compositions. Even the Winston Lucio Moira, the Tracer Sombra, I think this composition is really good against it. If you don't want to take that mirror, or you don't want to play the Wrecking Ball Sombra, I think this works quite well, because the Winston just gets melted, and they don't have enough threat in the backline to make it feel like the Fusion are throwing because they don't have anyone that can dive. Check Shanghai's way. It's really hard for me at all tab right now, so I don't really want to do it right now. I'll look at it after the VOD review, unless it's very relevant to right now. EQO isn't bad. EQO isn't a bad player. EQO is a great player. I think EQO is a volatile player, is the best way to put it. I feel like people remember EQO's failures more than they remember his successes, right? Like, he had Hanamura is a great example of that, right? On that defense, on that defense on second point Hanamura, he absolutely pounded. He was incredible. But on their attack, he floundered, and the same thing can be said here on certain points. Like, he's just very inconsistent, but that's just the way he is as a player. He's always been that way. And that was a terrifying thing about playing against Philly, is like, which EQO are you playing against today? Is he gonna hard dominate you, or is he gonna feed? And that's why I like the Reaper here, right? The problem with Seoul's comp right there was they just don't have enough damage. Like, how do they kill anybody? Carpe's just going to be able to sit in the background, shoot shots. They're going to dive. If they dive, EQO is going to be. If they don't dive there, EQO is going to take the space. Alarm Funny Astro have enough healing. Like, yeah, I think this is the turning point as well for the Philadelphia Fusion when they realize they can play this composition. Because Seoul hasn't shown a willingness to play the Wrecking Ball composition. So, because I think the Wrecking Ball composition is good against the Philly comp that they're playing with the Orisa. Because I think the Wrecking Ball and the Zen is so greedy, but the Philly comp doesn't have anything that can punish that Zen. So the Zen is just throwing out Discords. They have a Tracer and a Sombra and a Wrecking Ball just running around you that you can't really punish, and the Reaper just can't catch anyone to shoot at. So that is why I think this composition from Fusion is good against the Winston, but not good against the Bolt. So now here's my problem with what the Seoul Dynasty switched to. So they play this composition once again, but how does Marvel play Winston into this composition? So the Ash Echo should have a little bit of freedom to put out damage, but Marvel's just gonna die. My money is on Marvel dying first in this composition. Either that or he's gonna be completely redundant. Proper goes down, followed quickly by Marvel. Like, what do you do against this? Oh, this was so sad, by the way. Hopper pushes creative on the flash fan, and then Carpe tries to make sure that he dies, and then jumps up, and then dies trying to guarantee the kill. And then Fitz kills Hopper. That was such a throw by Philly. There was no reason that should have been hard.
60 seconds remaining.
Alright. That's a tilting play, yeah. So here we go. How does Marvel stay alive? So they have ultimates now, so they should be fine. So they're actually going to give a lot more space. Nice window. Fitz almost died for that. Oh, and he does die for that. He does get the bob out in a nice thing, but that was just a great pull by Mano. That force Fitz. He has to use his boosters, but he gets caught in the open. I think TU needs to put more of a threat on that, but here we are.
Diva.
It's a great rally. Carve gets 2 with the high noon. Just well played. Best way to beat the ball tracer Sombra comp? That is my question. I don't know what the best way to beat it is. You can maybe counter dive it like Atlanta, but no one has beaten Shanghai Dragons playing the Wrecking Ball comp. No one has done it. And no one has really shown a good counter to it yet. So as much as we see in the play-ins, some teams beat it, like obviously Washington beat Houston playing the Wrecking Ball comp. No one has beaten Shanghai doing it, and that's the big advantage that the Shanghai Dragons have going into these playoffs, is that people haven't shown an ability or a consistent way to shut it down. Shock beat Defiant. Yeah, Shock beat Defiant playing the composition. Are we really going to compare the Toronto Defiant Wrecking Ball composition to the Shanghai Dragons Wrecking Ball composition? NYXL did in the Countdown Cup. The Shanghai Dragons weren't really at their finest at that moment. I think we can all agree, right? And they said that themselves. So... and then you have Chengdu as well, a team that leans more into the Pharah compositions, right? Basically, people beat the Shanghai comp by being better than the teams copying it, but you can't, right? You can't try and beat Shanghai at the ball comp. I don't think there is a single team in the playoffs that can beat them playing it. The only team I can think of is potentially Chengdu. Maybe the Gladiators, if they just decide that they're going to be really good at that comp. But even then, they are quite diverse. I think as a team, you need to work out how to play your style and try and beat it. And the question will be, will Shanghai be at their finest? And that's it. That's why the Shock versus Shanghai match is really interesting, because we know what the Shock wants to do against that Wrecking Ball composition. Is it going to work? We haven't seen those two face off. You know, there's a lot of questions going into this playoffs, and that's what makes this playoff so exciting. Bomb's not very nice. It doesn't really have a lot of value coming out of that. Hey, buddy. Carpe goes Widow. Why does Carpe go Widow?
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
That's a nasty shot, though. That was a good death blossom by EQO. Even though he only trades 1 for 1, like it's still worth.
Recording performance for future
Carpe
analysis.
should switch. There's no reason Carpe should stay on this. But it's Carpe, so he's probably going to stay on it.
Heal me. All systems check.
I think Pete Carpe on Adrenaline right now, dude. I honestly, I'll question Pete. I'll always question the pick. But fuck it, it's Carpe, dude. Crazier things have happened. And remember, they only had like 2 minutes going into this round. And they're gonna go to 5 points as Seoul dropped the spaghetti. And I think it just goes back to this fact that Seoul is trying to play this like Winston Ash Hanzo composition that I don't like. They end up switching over to the Orisa and they get the win.
Ready for battle.
Can't wait for Custa Widow. Oh god, the Custa Widow in the offseason is going to be something special. Alright, so Fusion, I like Fusion's comp more. If you're gonna play Echo Ash, just play Orisa. Just play Orisa back. Oh, okay. Marvel just turbo feeds. The fastest way back to spawn is through the respawn queue. So Marvel should go Orisa here as well. So I think we can get mirror comps. There it is. Except the Hanzo instead of the Ash. I like the Mercy a little bit more than the Brig. Funny Astro's in Frowny Town now. Like, how do you even play Brig in these comps? Like, I think it's just so hard. I guess if you play aggressively like that, you can make it work. Ian Regis, thank you for the 3 months. Can we appreciate that Hero picks are so diverse? Ours the best it's ever been. Yeah, and it's been great. And, you know, I think a lot of people... Oh, and that's what happens if you play Brig into this comp. You try and get aggressive and you get punished. I know a lot of people like to shit on hero pools, but it wouldn't be this diverse if we didn't have hero pools. The fact that we go from tournament to tournament to tournament, we don't always have hero pools, but it will always break it up, adds to the diversity. If we played the same meta from tournament to tournament, it would not be this diverse. So it is nice. As much as hero pools doesn't feel like a great solution and it feels clunky at times, it does give us a lot of variation. Yeah, remember goats too well. Carpe gets isolated. Prophet just going sicko mode on the Fusion. Don't like that window by Alarm. Alright, so Soul capture the point. That was a really good attack by them. It's funny Astro gonna stay Brig. He's a braver man than I am if he stays Brig. I would 100% go Mercy. Alarm went Lucio for a second? Excuse me? I guess he wants to stay for the rally, but this could just... It could get to a point where he's never gets the rally. But I don't really like Brig. When in any situation that isn't against like Wrecking Ball and stuff, I just don't like Brig. Maybe our pros have a different look on it. But I feel like the problem that I have with Brig is the situation right now, right? The only way he is healing people right now is through packs. He can't get Inspire uptime because he just can't get close enough to anyone because there's double shield Echo Hanzo. Like, he still does not have the rally. There he goes. So it's not going to be worth it because of the rally. But by the time he gets it, it's over, right? Hop a rock pump. Alright, let me get it for you. Actually, before this, right?
Adaptive circuits engaged. Signal.
Oh, clean rock. Prophet did walk in a line, but hey, you still gotta respect the rock. It's a nice little flick of the wrist. Still lose though, yeah, as it always is. Alright, so Funny Astro finally gets over to the Mercy. Oh, fuck, I ult tabbed.
Cease your resistance.
Alright, so they got the Bongo. They got Bongo window, and Soul just doesn't have anything. And the issue from Soul from that last round was they just used too many ults. But this all goes back to their defense, right? This is always a big issue with these long overtime pushes. They just fucked up their defense too hard. They had a great offense given the time that they had, but they just ran out of ults at the end. And the same thing happened to Philly, but it's always the second team to defend who has the advantage because they know where they need to hold, right? So Philadelphia Fusion gets the hold. And that is a map to the Philadelphia Fusion, an unexpected one. And they probably should have just won 3-0 at this point because they should have won Hanamura, but it is what it is. Denim Chicken, thank you very much for the 4 months. Truly insane how much knowledge you have regarding everything about Overwatch. Always the most in-depth analysis for every aspect of every match. Keep it up, man. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy the reviews. I've been doing this shit for too long, is the answer of how I have so much knowledge. But I appreciate it. Thank you for the 4 months. Alright, so pooping feels good. It does. Thank you very much for the Prime Gaming sub. Alright, let's get some Shockwave pop. What reviews of Overwatch? Overwatch. I played Overwatch for so long. Played Overwatch for almost 5 to 6 years now, which feels ridiculous. When did Overwatch come out? 2016? It's been almost 6 years. May 2016, yeah, 5 years? A bit over 5 years. It's a lot of Overwatch. And I was playing in beta as well, so... And beta was out in 2015, so I've probably been playing for about 6 years, yeah. Oh! Don't know if I agree with that shift, but oh, I saw this live. It is just filthy.
See you later.
Bop. Dirty.
Somebody get me some healing.
Hey, buddy, come on. I'll be good in just a second, buddy.
Hey. I've got you covered.
I think Shockwave is such a great addition to this team because I think what it allows... One of the issues that I think Carpe has had in previous years for the Philadelphia Fusion is that he got caught in the same issue that we talked about Violet with, where it felt like he was spread too thin. He was the hit scan player, he was the tracer player, he was even like the flex DPS player from time to time. He was playing so many heroes that it didn't feel like he was playing any of them really, really well. So I think Shockwave is awesome to come in and sort of pick up that mantle of when we're playing a pure hit scan meta, Shockwave will be the guy. Carpe can obviously always pick up that hit scan and be good at it, but he's not forced to like be that guy. So I think that's really helped Carpe this year. Everyone knows the only person who can do that is Prophet and Carpe. Well, you say that about Prophet, but Prophet doesn't play hit scan. Like, he can, but he doesn't. He's never been required. Prophet has never been required to play Sombra and never been required to play hit scan. And those are two really important things that he's never had to really pick up. And that allows him to just spend more time being good at the things that he's great at. Is Flutter the exception? Flutter is one of the exceptions, yes. And that's why Flutter was the MVP last year. He was just incredible in everything. Except for maybe Genji. Fitz is a great hit. Fitz is incredible. Fitz being able to play the Sombra hit scan, I think Fitz I think is probably one of the most underrated DPS players in the league. People do not put enough respect onto Fitz. Everyone always talks about how great Lip is, but I would say I think Fitz could do the exact same thing that Lip did on the Shanghai Dragons if Fitz was on the Shanghai Dragons. Because Fitz and Lip are essentially the same player with their hero pools. I genuinely think Fitz could do the same thing as Lip. Obviously, that's a bit of a stretch. That could be a hot take if people are going to say Lip is better, but I think Lip has a better team surrounding him. And I think if Fitz had a better team surrounding him, he could have the same pop-off potential. Alright, playoff P coming up. That's a pretty good hold for the Philadelphia Fusion. That's 2 minutes before they lose the first fight.
Enemies on my radar.
Well, no, see, and that's the thing that makes Fitz impressive. He actually hits people with the EMPs as well. So it's like, he's kind of better than Lip in that regard. Low bar. Well, he still jumped over it. Oh, good nade. Oh, great pull. That is such a big pull. Prophet is about to get a copy. That could have easily been the difference maker right here. Getting that kill. Oh, Creative gets Shockwave. A little greedy by Shockwave to get on top of the arch like that. Another great nade by Creative, actually, as well. Creative's playing well. Good EMP by Fitz. See? Fitz hits people with EMP, and that should just be the first point. Like, you feel like Seoul, like, played well, but it took them so long to get through this first half of the first point. Like, that was a 3-minute first attack. Fitz versus Kai, Fitz, 100%. I think Kai's a better hit scan than Fitz. I think I would say Kai's a better hit scan than Fitz, but Fitz has more flexibility in him. Question 99 is a better hit scan than Fitz. Nobody ever talks about that. But do you guys remember that video from the Overwatch League in Season 1? When they had, like, they sent anyone in ranked who was, like, 4K plus that email being like, the Overwatch League needs you. And they sent everyone this email of, like, they were gonna run, like, a combine in a way of, like, where they were gonna have all these players be a part of, like, a directory, and then, like, teams would be able to choose from them. And, like, people had, like, 3 of their alts get emails. They were coming. Everyone got excited when they got them, and then just nothing happened with them. And they ran that video. For people that aren't aware, they ran this video, and the player was, like, Crusher99. This is, like, before the hours started, and they're announcing Overwatch League, and they're like, anyone could be a part of the Overwatch League. You. It was, like, very Uncle Sam. It's like, you could be a part of the Overwatch League. And everyone got, like, really hyped, and then there just nothing happened with it. Crusher the legend. Why do you think Carpe isn't playing Hitscan? Because Shockwave... I would say Shockwave is equivalent Hitscan to Carpe. We obviously haven't seen a ton of Shockwave. Obviously, he popped off on the Vancouver Titans last year. And this year, we haven't seen much of him. But from what I genuinely believe that Shockwave is equivalent to Carpe now. Right? That's bold. I think Carpe's greatest strength has never been on Hitscan, other than 2018 on Widow. Obviously, he's Kree, and he's still great at Hitscan, and I'm saying he's equivalent to Shockwave, but I think Shockwave is the Hitscan player for them now.
I need healing.
Oh. Shockwave, once again, I think he got a little greedy there. He had to use his shift to stay on the platform, so then when he fell off, he didn't have anywhere to go. So that was kind of bad movement. It's the second time in this round we've seen him have, like, weird positioning. He sort of forced his own positioning.
I might need more.
Shockwave looked good on the 2020 Vancouver Titans. That's enough to prove that he's elite. Hey, if Shockwave... Thinking back to what Shockwave did on 2020 Vancouver Titans, that was fucking ridiculous. That team was so average. And he carried them to wins on Echo, on Hitscan, on pretty much anything he touched. Firstly, to you kill himself. Size killing themselves just generally means they were getting pressure and they right-clicked at somebody, right? They were worse than average. Guys, I'm being nice to them, okay? I'm trying to be nice. I don't really like this grab from To You. The lamp's probably gonna go down. Is the lamp gonna die for this? No, he's not gonna die for it. I don't like that grab at all. He's always gonna get a high value lamp. It's gonna be hard for people to follow up. It was a good lamp, and then he had a shift up, and then he had a pack from Funny Astro. So that was just good team play. And, like, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. I think this Orisa Sigma stuff with, like, the Bat Brig is just so good against this Winston composition, and Soul just doesn't really have an answer to it.
Bob's ready.
I don't think Monkey Zaya is good. I think D.Va is just more consistent than Zaya. As much as Zaya can be crazy good, I think it can be very hard to get energy and get effectiveness on Zaya. I think D.Va just through default is better. I miss double sniper metas. I don't. As a support player, double sniper metas were hell because sometimes it's just like, oh, the other opposition Widow is just dominating our Widow. Well, I guess we lose then. We actually had a rank game like that today on Blizzard World. Prophet goes down again first on the Echo.
What is that melody?
Yeah, Moth meta was pretty bad as well. Just because like there were like 19 lives and it didn't feel like team play mattered. But you won that Blizzard World just because you win. And just because you're good at it doesn't mean it's fun. It's like, Moth metas were very dumb, right? We can all agree that Moth meta was dumb. It was probably the most successful I was ever as a player in Season 1 Overwatch League. Towards the end, when like Mercy was super prominent. I don't like it, but it was when I was at my best. So, you know, you gotta take the good with the bad a little bit.
Get over here.
I don't know why Animo goes Brig. Was Animo Brig before this? And they rallied? He was. Alright. Animo rallies and they die. Animo needs to get off Brig. I would rather see him just play Mercy and Pocket Profit. Like, what is the Brig doing here?
Ready to be deployed.
10 seconds remaining.
We're running out of time.
Is it easier to aim Ash hipfire than scope? Yeah, that's something that I think a lot of people realize is that obviously scoping down makes it a lot very pigeonholed, especially if they're close distance. Just hip firing is better. Like, look at how little Animo is doing. Doesn't have Inspire uptime. He doesn't have any Inspire, by the way. There's Inspire. There you go, one. Yeah, I don't like to Brig if they're gonna play double shields. Bodyguarding created from Carpe? Yeah, but that doesn't really help you because all Carpe does is shoot at you from distance or just shoot at somebody else. And then you're like, what? No, don't do that.
Ready.
Hello. Hey.
Oh, let me show you again.
Soon we will see if the hypotheses are correct.
How far do you think Philly will go in the playoffs? I don't think super far. I think they still haven't worked out their comps very well. They could potentially pop off and have their moments, but I would say I don't think they'll come last.
One. Attackers in.
They might come last. They might come 7/8 with Washington. I think those are my two teams. The two teams that I think are gonna... Actually, I think I would put three in the same category. Philly... Oh god, Creative gets caught by this? I think Philly, Washington, and Atlanta without Pelican are the three worst teams in it. Obviously, I think any team has the potential to be very, very good. I think this is the most stacked players we've ever had, but I would say they would be the three weakest in the playoffs. Oh yeah, he was just not ready for that. He was just not... Creative just lost. Pelicans lung through. Long dip. Yeah. That was just... They just out-rotated them. The only problem with everything that happened is this. They just didn't push the card. So they get all these kills, and that's great. But they didn't really get anything from it. I guess if they get fits late, like, it's not bad, but it's not as good as you would think it would be. Is Pelican not going to Hawaii? According to Brad, a couple of weeks ago, on Reddit, he said that Pelican will not be able to travel. It's not too surprising. Post-op, they generally advise you not to fly. They say you shouldn't fly. I don't know. Maybe things change. Maybe they'll get an exception. I haven't heard anything. We haven't heard anything. So we don't know. But I think the best assumption right now is Sushu and Pelican's not going to play. Fusion's playing this like it's Brawl. And Pelican can't play on ping. No, Pelican can't play on ping. He tried to do it. They tried to do it in the Countdown Cup. I think they would be much better putting Edison in and practicing with Edison. Oh, Fitz goes Widow. Practicing with Edison than trying to play on like 170 ping with Pelican, especially if the ping spikes, right? The ping spikes at 230 on the day just because internet, that's how internet works. Oh wow, that's a nice shot. But the team is just dying. Good flux by TU. He's got to get more value on this Widow. Still okay. Boat him across, man. Just drive to LA and boat him across. Can you imagine? Such a time commitment. Oh yeah, and that's it. The people are streaming Pelican thing. I assume Pelican wants to play.
Let them up.
Who knows? Who knows? I honestly would not be surprised if he plays. I think surely they can find a way. Surely they can get an exception from the doctor. If he's healthy enough and there's no complications, maybe. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if that's a really bad idea because people are saying like pressure of getting on a plane, like air pressure, could be really bad. That would also make sense. You know, with a collapsed lung going into high altitude could definitely be a bad decision. I don't know.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Brigitte.
Alright, so Fusion are gonna get the run through. There's Rally, Fox, Window. Anamo still did not have Rally, right? So Anamo's just really struggling on this Brig pick. Carpe pop, please. Alright, let me get you.
Payload's on the way.
Wasn't Edison a star like a year ago? He wasn't a star. He was a good player. But yeah.
I am ready to unleash the dragon.
Why does an airplane have to go to high altitude? Yeah, why can't we just have like low altitude? Just get a private jet and stay in low altitude. And that's it. You have to wait at least 2 weeks, up to 12 weeks. It's like, well, Fit's doing work, but bloop. Carpe says no. 2 to 12 weeks is a big discrepancy, so we don't know how it's all going for him and stuff like that, so we'll see. And boom! Philadelphia Fusion fans, don't disappoint. There it is. Philadelphia Fusion's gonna make it to the playoffs. They get over Seoul Dynasty. I don't think Seoul Dynasty was by any means the better team. I think Philadelphia Fusion definitely the better team in this match. They look quite good. I still don't think they're potentially up to scratch, but only time will tell in the playoffs. I think, as I said, every team has the possibility to have a run with the quality of their rosters. So I'm excited. You should be excited for the playoffs too. I hope you guys enjoyed this VOD review. I'm going to be doing more. I don't know if I'm going to do them tomorrow when I'll do these. I might even delay releasing this one just so we stagger out these VOD reviews a little bit. I think might be better than just throwing them all out there at once. So it might not be out tomorrow morning, might be out the morning after that. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Love you all, and I will see you guys next time.